guys, hi, welcome back once again. My name is Vaishali and today I'd like to talk about choices. Choices that either enable us or disable us. Choices that empower us or disempower us. And when I looked up for the original meaning of the word choice, apart from picking up and selecting, it also meant tasting and testing. So if we can only bring in all of those words together, we'll be able to understand that one only gets a chance to choose something when one has already tasted and tested it. Now, our sense of choices are dictated by a whole lot of factors which are both personal and interpersonal. The study was also conducted to understand the underlying reasons as to why people choose the way they choose, what they choose. So for this particular study, a variety of aerated drinks, essentially a variety of brands of aerated drinks, were offered to the Russians, and the same were offered to the people who stayed in USA. And it was noticed that for the Russians, they were just soda, whatever the brand might be, and for the US people, they were various drinks. For the people from Russia, it was one and the same thing, while for the people who were from US, it essentially meant different taste. It essentially meant tested and tasted waters. So whenever they chose something, it was with regards to how the packaging was done. It was also with regards to what kind of familiar associations or unfamiliar associations they will have with that particular drink. And with regards to all of those underlying factors, they essentially decided which drink they would like to choose for themselves. Likewise, if we talk of the concept of arranged marriage, which happens in India and a few other countries, if we talk to somebody who's not familiar with the concept, it would blow their lids off. They would not understand as to how marriages can actually be arranged. They might just be repulsed by the idea as to how somebody else decides what life partner would you be wanting to have for yourself. In a similar manner, I also noticed when I was working as a faculty, there was a point in time when I was to take a certain assessment. And with regards to that assessment, I had asked the children, I had given forth a few topics to them, and I had asked them to choose the two topics that they would like their assessment to be conducted on. And it was truly shocking to me that out of so many kids in the class, there was only one kid who had the voice to make a choice. Rest, every other kid did not know how to make a choice. And after looking into the background of the kid, I realized that his upbringing had been in a different environment. And so maybe having that choice empowered this particular kid, but maybe it overwhelmed the other kids at the same time. Likewise, if we've heard the name of Yeonmi Park, who's a North Korean defector and a human rights activist, we would understand that in the beginning when she fled North Korea, she herself has said that making choices, in fact having too many choices, was a very scary thing for her because it asked her to be accountable for all the little and the big choices that she was responsible for making. And since for a very long time, wherein essentially she grew up in an environment where having a choice is not a factor at all, having X number of choices, having infinite choices on an everyday basis essentially was more scary. So for somebody who comes from the background where choice in itself is a new introduction into their very vocabulary, making n number of choices and being accountable for those n number of choices is even more scarier. It may get overwhelming. It can also lead to a lot of anxiety. Most importantly, since most of us generally are now aware that we essentially live our lives 97 to 98% through our subconscious and our unconscious, we essentially make most of our choices through our subconscious patternings, through our subconscious conditionings. And most of those choices invariably veneer towards something that is very familiar, even if it is dysfunctional, because familiarity equals predictability and predictability equals safety to a subconscious mind, to a subconscious mechanisms. So then let's try and inquire into all of these factors through which we make our small and our bigger choices. I feel then it becomes more important to inquire and to understand, are we more afraid of making the choices, of having the right to choose, or are we more afraid of the responsibility of taking up the consequences of the very choices that we make? And based on the very choices that we make, I also feel that we should reflect upon, how do we describe ourselves? Do we describe ourselves as more interconnectedly, interdependently independent, or do we describe ourselves as so interconnected with the others that we actually can call ourselves codependently enmeshed with the others? Let's take a little time to reflect on all of those aspects, and I will see you once again the next week. Till then, stay tuned in. And guys, if you do like the contents of my videos, please do like, share and subscribe.